Right. Today's topic, the lookup function, we're going to look at VLOOKUP. Right? VLOOKUP. And the way that this always goes, the way I remember this, is it goes like this. We ask it, what do you want to look up? Then, where do you want to look up at? And then, which column are you going to find it in that table? And that's how the lookup always works. And there it is in the lab. There's the direction. Use the VLOOKUP. So you got to know how to do that this week. Okay? And here's our example. We're saying, hey, I want to come here and I want to look up, right? I want to look up the grade that this point total should get. So 730, right? 730 should get a C, right? 730 should earn you a C. So we're going to say right through here, we're going to take this part. We're going to say, hey, VLOOKUP. What do I want to look up? I want to look up 730. Where do I want to look it up at? Well, right here. Where do I want to look it up at? This table right here. Right? And what column is the information that I need? Right? There it is, the C, right there in the second column. Right? What do I want to look up? Where do I look it up at? Which column is the information in? Here we go, we're trying to write this VLOOKUP here, right? We wrote it here, it works, and then we copied it down and it's not working. Getting a bunch of not available error messages. Why is that? Oh, look at that, right? So we left this relative, and this should have dollar signs in it. This should have dollar signs in it because did we ever want it to move out of here? We really didn't, right? So hit the F4 key, put dollar signs in there. There you go, right there, right? Okay. The region code, you gotta lock that sucker down. Put dollar signs in there, right? Okay. And here we go again. We're looking at this and we're saying, hey, the VLOOKUP function, what do you want to look up? Where do you want to look it up at? Which column in the table has the info? And you say, oh my gosh, if it couldn't get more confusing, it is, all right? We have two different functions of the same name here. By doing the optional argument, if we do the default one, it becomes a range lookup. We use that mostly for numbers. And then if we put a 0 in there, it's called an exact match. And we use that really for names, things like people's names that are unique, right? So it totally changes the way the function operates. Here we're looking at the other function we're going to show today, and that is the PMT function, right? It's a financial function. There's a ton of financial functions in Excel. We want to focus on the PMT, the payment. We use this the most to calculate like a monthly payment on a credit card bill or a loan payment. Right? And the three components of a financial function we're going to look at is we've got the principal, right? The money that we're trying to calculate the monthly payment on. The payment on, the interest, right? The interest that's being charged on it, and the number of periods that we're going to make payments on that loan. The biggest problem with doing the PMT function is that we've got to get the things in the same units, right? But just the same way that we can't multiply pounds by ounces, or we can't multiply hours by minutes, right? We got to get it in the same units. We also can't go and do a financial function. We can't talk about monthly payments when our interest rate is in years and that sort of thing. So we got to give them the same units, right? We got to turn everything into months. So we'll turn the payments into months. We'll turn the interest into monthly interest, and we'll get our total number of payments in months, right? Using our dialog box is awfully handy for this one. All right, we can open that up and we can put them in. We can put them in here in each line like this. It's nice and convenient. Gives us the feedback on this instantly and lets us know that this thing is working. Right. The last thing we'll look at today in our demo is named ranges and say why we would do that. We're covering it now because it's part of your homework and I want you to get some exposure to it. But the way we do that is we just select a range down in Excel, and then when up here it has this name box, we write a name in here. And then that range will have that name. And what's really cool about that is if we keep on doing some kind of repetitive task in Excel that we're saying, hey, sum what's in this range. Go up and average what's in this range. Well, we could just give it a name and we could just call it, salary. And then we could go sum salary, average salary, instead of having to keep on circling this range. It's actually pretty convenient. The other really cool thing about it is that it's always absolute. It never moves around. And so we don't have to add dollar signs to it. It's always absolute. It's always fixed, and it sits there. So it's very convenient like that. And the last thing is that it's descriptive, so that when somebody looks at a formula that you've written and they see in there, they see this range, they're like, well, what the heck does that range mean? But if it's called salary, it's a pretty good indication that what you're calculating there is somebody's salary, and so it's useful like that. So there's lots of reasons for named ranges, and we'll talk about that more in week 4 when we start talking about Excel tables. All right, I'll see you in the next video.